Wonderful. Welcome, friends. My name is Luke Beer. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of DuPont Circle. Thank you for joining us. Today is a wonderful day, the first meeting of the new year. We're going to have a great year in this club. We had a great year last year. And I am going to start off the meeting with the mission statement. Gaston, can you please read the mission statement?
We use our professional diversity and international perspective to serve our community, both local and global, in concrete ways through hard work, innovation, and creativity. The synergy of the club lets us have a higher impact on the world than possible as an individual while enriching us through fellowship.
Outstanding. Thank you. Rick, did you want to give that toast again now that we're on record for it?
I tried.
Right on. Well, cheers to the new year and to all of our friends being healthy and happy, and may we all be very productive this year. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. I don't see anyone who's new to the club. Any guests? I briefly explained and introduced Howard and Gaston to past District Governor Rich. Aside from that, I think we can move right on. Would you like to read the news, Jessica? Are you able to do that, please?
Absolutely. We're light on the news tonight as we get geared back up for the new year. But do check out your newsletter, has the information for the upcoming speakers in January. All of those are booked out. I will make this plug that we are looking for speakers for February and beyond. So because we do not have a former programming chair, if you know of any wonderful soul out there who would be a great person to engage us, feel free to pass that name along. Other than that, that's all I've got. Howard asked who is the secretary, and that would be Kristen, the lovely Kristen with the awesome haircut. I love it, Kristen, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Outstanding. Thank you. Aside from the news that's in the newsletter, does anyone else want to speak to anything that's come up over the holidays? Please, Mandy.
I also had to find my unmute button. So just a couple notes that will be in the newsletter, if I can actually send the email to Jessica, but coming up quickly, I think you guys remember we sponsored a student in the 4-way test last year. And so Matt May and Tamara Akonsky are going to be speaking about involvement opportunities in the 4-way test, both this Saturday, January 8th, and Monday, January 10th at 7 p.m. Involvement is encouraged from clubs to sponsor students and to hold their own competitions. They are also looking this year for judges who want to watch the student YouTube videos and give your 2 cents on who you think is a great candidate. So I will send all of this to Jessica for inclusion in the newsletter, but feel free to ping me if you have any further questions about either one of those.
Hey, I have a quick question / comment / I don't know what it is. I'm just going to talk. So the young lady from last year was a freshman and super good to work with. We just didn't have her for a long time. I think we had like a week or 2, maybe if that. And so if we wanted to reach back out, she was super excited to do it. She just needed a lot of help. So we have a lot more lead time now. If people wanted to actually sponsor a student again, it'd be good to actually like work with her and give her the help that she needed.
Wow, that's great, Monique. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of energy behind this because last year we enjoyed so much hearing the 4-way test. Matt's presentation was awesome, but then at the district level, I remembered the speeches, and to be a judge on that one was quite challenging. Brilliant young people and brilliant conversation. Very cool. Well, thank you for that. We will have a board meeting next week, as we always do, the second Tuesday of the month. And we had a great board meeting in December, and everything that's been worked on and developed through these that board meeting and the next one that's oncoming, I'm sure we'll tell you all about in the third week, because the holidays kind of bumped into some of the things we were trying to achieve. Anyways, past that, is there anyone else with anything news that they would like to bring to the club's attention?
I'm just gonna precede Rich, although I think it might make more sense to wait until he's inspired everybody by talking about Rotary to say it afterward. But before I do want to just let everybody know we are in election season and there are positions open and they are in the email that you have, our district newsletter, I mean, our club newsletter. And, you know, this is the time to start to spread your wings and be part of the club in an instrumental way and to set the direction for the future. So after you hear Rich, I think you're going to want to decide which position you want over.
Indeed. I believe that what Rich is going to tell us is also going to give us confidence that this club is in a very good position to do some great things moving forward. And any member of the executive is going to be able to call some really interesting opportunities. So that is great. Thank you very much, Kristen, for reminding me of that. The elections, we had a few people message us asking clarifying questions, trying to understand the position roles. We continue to work in the administration, clarify those roles. They are clarified, I should say, but I'm just meaning to say that we want to make sure that everyone knows that these are positions where one can grow into, and certainly I know I am as president. So wicked. If there's nothing past that, then I would like to introduce past District Governor Rich. Awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. May I share the screen?
Absolutely, sir. I should have made you co-host. That would be great. I'm going to do that right now.
All right. You see that screen?
Yes.
One that they should be.
Close. I usually do this beforehand, so I don't have to bore you with all this little jockeying around here. Okay, so did that square in our program? So good evening, everyone. It's so great to be back. Brand new year. Happy New Year, everyone. This is also the time where we literally transition to the beginning of our program of sponsoring and informing and participating in the Rotary Foundation. So a number of you have been on a number of my lectures. So I apologize in advance. You'll see some familiar data, but when we have over 15% of transition across the district, we believe that we need to be constantly reminding ourselves and each other about how big a deal this is in Rotary International, especially the foundation around the world. So on this first page, we see the incoming first female president of Rotary International coming in next year, and also our previous Rotary International president, Mr. Risley, President Risley. They all fall into the foundation, and he will be the chair of the trustees next year. So the DRFC, with the director of Rotary, the District Rotary Foundation chair is my role. And that is a role that is nominated by the district, sent up to the district leadership through the international trustees of Rotary Foundation, and they approve, they vet and approve, and they give you certain powers, and they are my direct supervisor. We have then on the other side, we have the Rotary president and the district governors, the RIDs, the Rotary International directors, and the district governors are in her chain. But the bottom line is that we are the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International. So we all work together very, very closely. And unless you really have a need to know, there is a little hierarchy, but just thought I would introduce you to that. Also, you may or may not be aware, our current district governor, Geetha Jairam. Dr. Jairam is the incoming Rotary Foundation chair. My 3 years have gone by like a rocket, and so my term ends in June 30. We also have, in the second year of 3 years, Barbara J. We call her BJ if you haven't already met her. She is our Rotary Foundation Grants Committee Chair, and she works very closely with me. So there are 3 faces, that 2 of which you will see starting in July. And so I'm going to go through a few slides, against which are introductory slides, but they're so important. I repeat them all the time. Our founder, Arch Klump, very strongly believed the value of the foundation. However, he did not want Rotarians to view this foundation as a tax or an assessment on our clubs or members. Our job as leaders and each other as fellow Rotarians is to be participating in the creation of a living legacy with a giving and grant culture. It is our job to inspire, and we inspire by getting everyone engaged. The more you're engaged, the more you'll be inspired. And it's not an issue of asking people for money. People will want to. Some can afford $10, some can afford $1,000. It doesn't matter. It's the overall participation, time, wisdom, and wealth, and supporting each other, making a major impact in the world. And I'm going to show you a couple slides. Some of you have seen, some of you haven't. But this request he has made, we acted upon it in that way, and we inspired as much as we could. And what happened is that we started a few things that we had never done before. You may have heard about the Legacy Fund campaign. We had it for 14 months. I started it in the middle of COVID, and you want to think, what was I thinking? But guess what? We had $1 million goal. We made $2.5 million plus. That is extraordinary. We did not ask anyone for a dime. We spent our whole year of 14 months by educating, creating awareness, and people were excited. They didn't know so much. People were in Rotary for 20 years, and they said, I never knew that before. So we are showing that we can do this by inspiration, and we do not have to ask for a penny. So you will see over the last several years, we have increased. I was a district governor in 1819, and I became the DRFC in 1920. And every year we've continued to inspire and teach and just stay in touch. And you see that we are probably going to exceed again the average per cap in our district. There was only about 4 or 5 years ago where it was unheard of to even think that we could get to $200 per cap. But here's what really is amazing. We started this legacy campaign. That's where people contribute anything over $10,000. They could even program it over 3 years if they want to. Now that's only unique to a campaign. But this is the amount of money that came out of our fellow Rotarians. And I on my Rotary Honor 4-way test, I never asked anybody for a dime, seriously. Club leaders need to continue to support this DRFC recipe. It's our job to sell to our leadership the recipe. But people don't want to buy, people want to buy something. They don't want to be sold something. And we proved that. So we have a number of things that I've just showed you. They're evidence-based. And so we believe we're on the right track, and we can do this because we're inspired. And why should we be inspired? We are number one almost all in every category in the world when it comes to giving around the world. I have some statistics on that, but I don't know if I have them today. We don't have enough time to do some of this. So anyways, you can see that we are growing. Now, this is also a very, 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 very interesting slide. We want to get rid of the myth. The myth is that you don't have to be rich to donate. Matter of fact, if you're inspired, you will find $10. If you're inspired, you will continue to give. As your jobs, your life, and things continue to grow and mature and so forth, things change. But the idea is that more than half of our people contributed less than $249 a year. And then 26 of those contributed less than 100. But yet that 48%, that 52% still $400,000. That is our engine for our grants. If we do not fund our Rotary Foundation annual fund, then we're not going to have enough money to share. And it's been going down and down and down over the years, but in the last 3 years, it's been going up and up and up. We're setting new records across the big. Here is the one that concerns me. In spite of all these records that we are breaking, 48% of the people in our district don't give anything. And it's usually because they don't know, no one's ever told them, they don't attend any trainings, and they don't know any better, and they maybe haven't been engaged. And we have proven through our evidence that that's what makes the difference. I'm going to give you another slide that shows you why we're such a big deal and why every dollar matters. I'm going to go through this real quick because this is a lot of numbers. Bottom line is that the $111,000 that you contributed to the foundation, which comes back to us in 3 years, we match it. There's a couple plus and minuses because there's some administrative costs and things. But by the time it gets to our community, we have multiplied our dollar that we contributed by 2.4 times. Now that's a big deal. But look at this. Last year, just that year, we funded in global grants, 43 grants through 19 countries. We initially contributed 125,000. We matched that 125 plus or minus. And then we also contributed, I say we, us, you, me, we contributed more dollars because we were working on grants that needed to be $30,000 or more. But it always comes out, and people are always finding the inspiration to contribute more. So last year, we contributed $564,000 of your money from your annual fund contributions, nothing else. And I'll show you a graph in a minute. When we partnered, and this is another big deal, this is what we've been working on for the last 3 years, is encouraging partnerships. Those partnerships around the world contributed another $3.8 million so that your money working together with partnerships and so forth, our impact on the ground was over $4 million last year. That means 7.78 times what we originally contributed. So we as a group, some can donate more, some can donate less, but every dollar makes a difference. Every dollar makes a difference. So I wanted to share that with you. A number of years ago, I was going through a bunch of junk I had, and I found this, and I thought it was hysterical. This is the way we walked out of training. And it was like we had to let go of this big old fire hose. So 3 years ago, I came up with this idea to break it down into small fire hoses. And so we now have a training series. And this training series is what has proven through our approach, breaking it up, doing multiple opportunities to listen in. Like I told you, there's only 60 clubs, but I did over 200 presentations because some people wanted to break it down a little bit more. That's great. That's what I love doing. But we start off with these series. Now, 3 of these series are required to qualify for your grants, your community and global grants. So stay tuned. There is going to be some announcements coming out where you will see these start on February 10th after pre-pets. We are really serious from this evidence-based experience over the last 3 years that we have a powerful product. And we have become pretty much to the top 5 in almost all categories in our zone because we've taken this approach. We've established standard benchmarks on education through our series. We review many options, and we talk about the art of giving. By going through these trainings, you find out the various ways that you can give in time, wisdom, and wealth, and makes a major difference in our annual grants. We want to inspire. We talked about that already. We want to make sure that we're inspiring so this legacy continues forever, where we have a giving and grant culture. Expand our partnerships. I mentioned that as well. That is where we saw a lot of our growth, is because we figured it out. We figured out that art of giving where we've been able to maximize our impact. And it's your and my job as leaders. We are all leaders. We may be members, not in an officer position, but we are all leaders. In Rotary, we are all leaders. And we need to support the District Rotary Foundation Chair recipe, which we've just been going through real quickly. So I mentioned a minute ago about why we're such a big deal. If you haven't ever seen this slide, 90% of your dollars go right to our funds, to our programs. It used to be 92, but COVID knocked a couple percent off because it's costing us more to do business. Only 1% have 10 years of consecutive 4-star ratings. Well, we have 14. And also Charity Navigator says a vote of the 9,000 charities that they evaluate, only 60 received the 4-star value. This is all in the country, right? Over 1 million charities in the US, we're number 1 in the GuideStar ratings. This one here is brand new. We are in the top 100 largest public charities by annual donations in the world. In the world, we are number 66. Now, is that not impressive or what? This is kind of things that we need to continue to remind ourselves that every dollar, every hour that we do service, we are a big deal around the world. And in 2020, we were the world's most outstanding foundation by the Association of Fundraisers. So I wanted you to continue to know how much of a big deal you are and what you do is so impactful. Now, I'm not suggesting I'm a fan of Brady, but what it did tell me is, how do people win? How do winners win? Well, it just kind of coincides. We get into the game. We participate. We get engaged. We participate in our projects. We bring ideas. Some of us are doers. Some of us can help with funding. We learn the rules. And that's why our training programs are so important. We play as we practice. If we're not constantly talking and getting into how to do a grant, a community or an international, we're not going to play. We're not going to play right. So we also have to understand, as I just showed you in those statistics, worldwide, we have a sphere of influence around the world, a big one. So there's that similarity as well. As more and more you're getting engaged and you realize the impact of what we do, it's an awesome experience. And we like what we do because we're people of action. Real quickly, there has been a lot of confusion about whether the international is a tax exempt organization versus the foundation's tax. Well, the fact of the matter is we never have been. We've always been a C4, which is a charitable organization, but it's not tax exempt. The 501c3 Rotary Foundation tax dollars are. And when we get into some of the presentations that you'll see when you start attending them, we will break that down and show you some of the art of making sure you're not getting in trouble. What we're going to talk a little bit about is the annual fund. And it's only going to be very little because there's so many other variables around here that it would take us days. So here it goes. Now, don't worry about this. You're going to get this stuff to look at. You're not going to have to worry about writing all these notes, and you're going to come to trainings and you're going to call me individually or whatever. And we're going to work through this, but it's really not as hard as it looks. All the money that we get for grants comes from one source, annual fund. If you donate to Polio Plus, it goes to Polio Plus, but it doesn't go toward our grants. If you have an endowment, a number of people have endowments, but the money that goes in the endowment, except for some rare exceptions, don't help us out with grants, okay? And you may have recalled on one of the other slides I had, I said that we have a 2.4%. These are real numbers. This is not, I didn't make all this up. Just based on $100 or whatever the dollar is, that's an arbitrary figure. We multiply our investments through our fundraising and like matching dollars. We're at 2.4% of your original investment of $100 turns into 2.4 times. I think that's really awesome. There's also another thing that we do have an option to receive money. And that is on the endowment. I said a minute ago, there are these rare exceptions. There are people, these three in particular, of other endowments that say, no, I love the World Fund. No, I love the Peace Fellows. And I like all these different opportunities we have in the areas of focus. But guess what? These people say, I want my $240,000, which by the way, just went up by $60,000 2 days ago. I want that money to live forever into perpetuity. And what I get from that, or what, when I say I, the donor, he gets to see that these amount of monies come back every year to the district's grants. So if we're receiving $80,000 for community grants, it's actually $87,000. Now, that's pretty cool. Well, this figure right here was based on 2 charities, 2 endowments. Our district now has $175,000 charitable endowment. That's your money, your endowment, and whenever you contribute to it, the spendable earnings that comes off every year comes back and makes this figure here higher and higher and higher, because it grows in market value and the principal stays in the bank to earn money to pay for us to get more grant money. That's pretty cool. Just to show you how it grows, when we first started this endowment at 150, it's now 175. This is where the principal grows. Stock market goes up and down like it always does. But in the end, that market value in 25 years is $231,000. And it continues to spin off spendable earnings. And in this case, over 25 years, we would have received $222,000 toward our community grants. Is that pretty impressive? So now this is really important for you to know. And by the way, someone please keep tabs on me so I don't go over time. It's very important. A lot of people have not realized that we have a person who donated over $1 million over the period of a number of years, and they were going through their club foundation. Problem was that that club foundation, when it goes to through the club's foundation, where am I? The club's foundation. The points go to the club, which means that if you're contributing dollars and you're getting points to become a Paul Harris +5, +6, major donor, an Arts Clump Society. This person's been an Arts Clump Society member 2 times over and had 0 awards because all the money was going through the club's foundation. Now, not everybody has a club foundation, but it went through the foundation, which the money, when it was given to the Rotary Foundation, the club got the points. So somehow or another, if you have a community foundation and you want to contribute money to the annual fund or whatever, it needs to come directly from the donor. Now, there are all kinds of ways to make this really clever and really make this work. It goes back to the art of giving. I'm not going to go into great detail because we don't have the time. So we will go into it when we have our presentations. That's something really important. I'm not saying don't contribute to your club's fund, but there are ways in which you can get money to the annual fund where you can get credit and grow in recognition. And one of the reasons this is so important that I'm telling you that is because you will see all these numbers over here. There are $791,000 in points that Rotarians contributed toward the annual fund. All right. There are club points and there are individual points. So when they were contributed through whatever, your club foundation, or if somebody says, hey, here's $1,000. Don't do that. We have 3 million points. We're going to talk about what points are. You can't do anything with them but a couple things, but very valuable things. So that's why this slide here is really important. And we could probably have a 20-minute session just on that and the art of giving. So you all have a lot of points. You have 18,000 points. You can't do anything with them except sponsor new Rotarians and some other really neat things. And this is how many points that some of the members have in your club. Now, this is as of last fall, but I had to hand calculate every single one of these. So that's why it's my August presentation, because I spent my time doing other things, but it still is pretty impressive. Okay, I printed some graphs of your statistics, and what they are is current as of yesterday. So I am going to reduce that, and I'm going to, whoops, this is in the way, so I have to move it. We are going to look at some of your statistics. Okay, let's see. So there are ways to get your reports, and it's not hard. Watch it make me don't make me a fool, but I'm going to do this just to show you how easy it is. I've got to find it in my, not that one. Here we go. Okay. myrotary.org. That's where your reports are. If you don't already know this, this is where all your reports are. You click on that icon, okay. So now you will see, open this up. The first thing that's going to come up is sign in. Sign in. Okay. When you do that, you go down here and you sign in. So you need to know your password if you don't make one. So I got a long one. Okay. I don't know if they all went in there or not. Let's see what happens. I may have typed too fast. I did. So it could be operator error. So it's a little slower sometimes, but this is used all over the world. So you're going to see at the top screen your name. Okay. What you do now is you go over here. Now, listen to me carefully on this one. Run your cursor down this row. Do not click on it because it'll make it mad. Then just slide down your cursor and you'll see that all these things start opening up here, right? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Rotary Foundation reports. This is where you find the reports. See, it's pretty quick. First thing is individual contribution recognition is your personal recognition record. Only you can look at it. Okay, only you can look at it. I'm the only other one that can look at it, but what I have, because I'm vetted it for a number of ways, I call my contact at RI and at TRF and I say, hey, so-and-so is having difficulty getting to the report or they don't understand it. I would like to see the report so I can work with them on that. They send an email out right then and there with your report. It goes to you and it goes to me. And then we get on the phone and we have a chat about what it means. But your information is your private information, and TRF is very particular about that. So you're going to scroll down here until you come to contributions and recognition. These are your club reports. You click on club report or view reports. Sometime today. There you go. There we go. Okay. These are your club reports. You click on those club reports, whichever ones you want, and I'll show you yours in a second, but I want to show you how easy this is. Your banner report and your recognition report are two reports that you're going to be looking at frequently if you're going to manage your club. And there is authorization levels to get to these reports. And well, definitely Mandy has a higher authorization level, but as your AG, but the president-elect, treasurer, and secretary have higher levels. Everybody else has a 1 level. Okay, so you're going to click on the year that you want to talk. You want to look at your statistics. Do that, and keep having all your pictures in my way. Okay, so here's the banner report that's loading up. Now I'm going to show you tricks, and don't worry about remembering all how to do it. Basically, the worst thing you got to figure out is your login. So the rest of it's pretty easy. As you're going through your year, you want to look at this report periodically. Now this is Aberdeen, but I mean, if I want to get yours, you guys will only see yours. I see them all. So what I have to do is I have to go in there and do a little dance here, and then it gives me all of them. I'll roll down to yours. Okay, So now we're at Aberdeen. We're going to go down to U. Where are we? We are at E Club. There's DuPont. There you are. So you're going to look up here and you're going to see that when you started out in July 1, you had 24 members. So you currently have 26 active members, but only 23 are existing. Now, why do we have all those? When it really comes down to the statistics, as it says right here, they are all based off what your existing active are. Here's where you meet your eligibility requirements for your grants. You need to have 50%. You're currently at 30. We're only halfway through the year, so don't panic over any of this. You have your average per cap. You're at 92. You'll need to be at 120. And on this particular screen, I put it on the spreadsheet I made for you, where you should have 50% of your club that are Rotarians, Paul Harris Fellows. Okay, but that just gives you an idea, all the information that you have, and that's the banner report. Let's see, whoa, where'd that come from? So at any rate, that's where you find all those reports you have listed there. They're easy to interpret. If you have any problem, you call me. We're going to work it out so you are not left alone. So let's see. Let's go back to that spreadsheet that are yours that I kind of customized for you. Don't worry, I do it because I'm anal. So, so what I did for you is I sorted a couple things. You put, first of all, when you load up that report, you go down and tell it you want to convert it to Excel. It does all of that for you. And then you can sort all you want. So here's the report. And this happens to be the recognition report. We looked at the banner report a little while ago. Now, what I did is I sorted this so I don't have to go all down this list and count 1, 2. I sorted them. So I can tell you right now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10 Rotarians that are Paul Harris Fellows. And what I did over here is that I probably shouldn't have shown this to everybody, but what you do is you go through and you statistically look at your options and you find people like this person right here. I'm not going to mention any names, but it says right there. This is a person that's very close to a Paul Harris Fellow. So what you do is you offer them a 50-50, which means that you divide that last 160 bucks, and you take 50 out of your points, and the other they pay in cash. Oh, you have another Paul Harris Fellow. So there's some of the art of giving that you get from your points, because every dollar that you give, you get a point, and you can use those for honorary Paul Harris, first time only, by the way, or you can use those points to give a Paul Harris, honorary Paul Harris, to someone who's done an extraordinary job and done something really special, or somebody in the community you want to recognize. So that's how you can sort for that particular one, support that column F. Over here, I have the banner report, and I took your banner report and I took out all the junk, and then I sorted it by ERAY. So right now you have, and by the way, it has to be from July 1 on. So in your case, every single one of you, which is great, that are regular donors, have contributed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8. What you need though is 50% of your total membership. So you got a little ways to go to get everybody ramped up. Inspiring first, they will want to participate because there's so many ways to do it. It doesn't cost a lot. So this is a report that you would look at, because when you start getting at the end of the year in 6 months, actually in about 5 months, you're going to want to make sure that 50% of your clubs are ERAY. So this is how you manage that. So I'm not going to belabor on that much more. I want to leave for some questions. How much time I got left, boss?
About 2 minutes.
Okay.
Because I
So
want to
let's
open the floor for questions, because you
Yes.
provide us with an exceptional amount of information, and we want to know primarily, as a board, we've talked so closely, and Jessica's worked diligently looking at these reports, and we've worked with our members, people like, for example, Gabby that you highlighted there, who's committed to donating over a series of months, because committing to being a Paul Harris Fellow was very important to her, as I understand. I just say that there's good traction. I think we're closer on the requirements for every Rotarian every year, and as well for Paul Harris Fellows, than we've ever been. And this was something that we were looking at as part of our strategic plan to position us that in a post-COVID world, where possible, that we would be able to leverage all these district dollars and such. So I think I just want our club to be able to ask you direct questions about where we
Please.
are otherwise. So
I'm so supportive of your group for a wide range of reasons, but I'm here for you. And I have no doubt that you all are going to achieve anything you want to achieve.
I just say you have a couple of minutes there if you wanted to finish a couple more slides. You were just asking how much time you had left.
Well, there was
something else?
a lot of stuff there. So why don't I just leave it at that? Just knowing the fact that the training series are coming up. And by the way, I will make this comment. This is for everybody. I've had people that have been coming to these sessions over the last 3 years. They're going, I've been in Rotary for 20 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it's for everybody. And they were so inspired. They inspired other people. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, just call Rich up and they'll do a one for the club. So it's for everybody, but leaders in specific.
Well, I'm driven back to that one slide that you had where you mentioned that Rotarians are people of action, and the dollars that we spend through our foundation, 90% of it goes directly to the causes. Because we are a volunteer organization, we have incredible power of giving.
Yeah.
And past that, I know I started donating this year. I didn't know anything about the Rotary Foundation prior to running into this club in DC, because I had not been so involved in a strong institution like this district. And I know that, giving for me, I donated towards Polio Plus because that was a specific interest that I had. But I think that there's many ways that our Rotarians can donate. And we're definitely looking at leveraging those points that so many of our members have been able to accumulate in cooperative ways. So
Yeah.
Is there a specific question for Past District Governor Rich? Please, Mandy.
Hi, Rich. It's so great to see you again.
And likewise, Randy.
One day, I'm sure we will be able to gather in person in a DuPont Circle bar again and toast to each other. But until then, we will Zoom. So I have a specific question about, I'm going to leave this anonymous. One of our members wanted to help our club in the journey to Paul Harris Fellow 50%. And so she logged in and made a donation to the Share Fund, annual fund. But the money isn't showing up anywhere. Is there a way to track down where this
Yes.
lost money went in the ether?
Yeah, there's a couple ways. There are reports that show when contributions were made and by who. In her particular case, there is a form, and I'm going to share because seeing is believing. Let's see, where am I? Share. Okay. In this program, there are different forms. And one of the ones that we find the people just don't realize the power. So here's an example where you're doing a contribution to an individual. Let's see, is this the one I want to say?
Rich, just let me interrupt. If that happens to
Yeah.
be the ones you do for donating points,
Oh yeah, yeah.
then
that's
I'd be
there.
equally interested. Is there another form for that?
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
So, okay, so there is a form, a contribution form, where you donate points to an individual or individuals, but you have to fill out a separate form. And I do them all the time for people, though could be time consuming, but you all can do it very easily if you just know how. A form, just name it on the name, you're the donor, and you're giving those points or those dollars to another individual that you will fill out on the bottom of that form as well. So it is submitted with a check attached to that form. So let's say they want to give 200 to Betty, or they want to give, and they also want to give 250 to Bob, or whatever. They designate that on that contribution form. So it's really easy to do. Now, as far as transferring points, and again, this is for an honorary Paul Harris or for an honorary first time Paul Harris. But to go back real quick, I want to show you this again. You need to push your money from a foundation to the club, or from an individual to the foundation, in order to give those people those credits so that their name shows up in that report. So if their name is not showing up in the report, call me or have that person call me. I will look it up and find out if it is there and we just don't recognize it, or it didn't go into the right category. I can find out.
Perfect. Then I will be emailing you separately.
No problem. Yeah, it will be on one of these reports, one of these types of reports. The recognition folder, tell you the last time you contributed. And so we'll match that. We'll match the dollars. If those dollars there aren't right, we'll figure it out.
And Kristen, I have an example of the points form that has been filled out that I can send to you as a sample.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, I just wanted to use that opportunity to whine, because I think it's, you know, it'd be nice to have that automated online so we can just fill out like a Survey Monkey type
But it's
thing and
an online
submit.
form. Yeah,
But
it
I
is an
thought that
online
we had to like fill it out.
form. No.
It looks like it's an attachment on a PDF, no?
Oh, let's see here. You're gonna be seeing my stuff.
I filled it out in the PDF online. It's
Oh.
like a completable form,
Exactly.
and
I
then
was
you
gonna
can
show it to
email
you.
it to the
Yeah, I was gonna
area
show it to you.
people.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, it may be, you know,
It's in
computer
here.
and my version issues. Okay,
Yeah, I've got them. I can forward it to you. I've got forms out the wazoo. That sounded
Okay.
great, didn't it?
Rich, I was going to ask, can you share some of some of the projects, the grant projects that we funded with some of the district grant funds?
I can. I'm going to get out of all of this. It goes back to the My Rotary. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Guess I want to save it. I worked too hard for you guys on that one. Come on. Oh no. There we go. See, I'm doing all this real time. So we're going to go into My Rotary. Come on. Why is this doing this to me? Does anybody know?
Is it another tab?
Oh, what I did. Well, I know where it is. I can go back to this one and do it this way. I did this for the slide presentation, so and because I haven't been out long, it may have kept me logged in. We'll see.
Oh, it went.
Yep, still in. Okay, Rotary Foundation. So this is where we're going to go to, what did you just tell me? Is that a brain freeze?
I was just wondering about the district grant, the projects that we've recently funded as a district with district grant funds or with the
Yeah, this
global
is
grant
going to-
funds.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting for you. So I'm now going into my Rotary, but going into the other file. And I see more here than you do, but this will give you a really good idea. And by
So
the way,
can
I
so
have to
can I-
manage this.
Hey, Rich, can I offer a suggestion that maybe like we make it pretty and put it somewhere in a district website?
I didn't hear part of what you said.
Can I offer a suggestion for us to make the data pretty and put it on the district website, like where the grants are, blah, 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 maybe like a map and like a link to the clubs that are doing it, things like that.
But everybody can get to this on their own. But what we'll do is we'll just put a link up there, and you're going to do what I just did. And there's some information that you will not be able to see, but are any one of these ones that you've been working on? I've got another spreadsheet that I do personally where I have the clubs, the amounts, and that's how I came up with that big spreadsheet that had, we put in 590,000, we spit out 4 million. I have that all broken down, but that takes hours, but I've got it and I use it. But let's just say, we would click on that GG number and it would bring up that COVID project. Here's the COVID project, the GG number is still in draft. But what we can do is you can go down here and you can see who are involved in the project, what club, and if we're involved, you can go look at funding. Well, all of those were involved. All these that I'm showing you were involved, but we may be a co-sponsor, we may be just getting cash, we may be having match grant money. And we're going to see if we were in this particular, yeah. So this is where we gave $5,000 matching funds to someone else in our district that was involved in this grant. So this was it's a $116,000 grant. Now this is in draft, so all these numbers aren't going to equal yet. But yeah, you can get to any of this information. I don't know what Keith is going to do. I don't know if she has the time to be doing some of the silly spreadsheet stuff I've done. But that's one reason why we know so much today, is because no one's ever mined the information. So so as you can see on this, it tells you what are the ones that are in draft, which haven't been approved yet. These are the ones that are requiring an authorization, which is my field. And then these are the ones that have been submitted and are getting ready to be funded. And the last date of opportunity, these are the ones that have been approved. So your question about what kind of grants we've done in this district, this is where that's going to flash up. This is all that we do. This is what's currently being worked on, and some paid, some not. These are all the grants that we're doing in our district. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, I'm just looking at the names of some of these projects, and it's very intriguing. Cervical cancer, education projects, obviously a lot of wash sanitation projects, and clearly just some of the geographical names that I'm catching: Latin America, Africa, through Asia, shows the diversity of our district, which it's unbelievable what our clubs are actually doing. So I'm excited because as I'm learning more about the Rotary Foundation, it's another way for me to learn about what other Rotary clubs are doing and how they're having successes. I mean, this is where we hope to be. This is where we want to be. So
match pace.
It's good to see how the nice shiny cars in the showroom right now, because this is making us get buyers angst here. And so or not angst, but anxiousness. But that's super exciting. Wow. And just can you click on one more, Grant, just to show again multiplier effect. So if for our newer members, if you could just kind of read line by line what makes.
Let's go down and look at one. Yeah. Let's go down and look one of these that was approved. And so let's go to Puruli. That's in India. It's Paul Mahada's hometown, but he worked on a grant. I'm going to show you this. I think this is the one. So Mountain Area State, the international sponsor. Purulia is the club that's co-sponsoring and is our on the ground monitor. And that's after there's an assessment done and they're all legit. So now we're going down in here and we're going to look at the budget. So these are all the people. This is all equipment. So that's the budget, right?
Yeah.
Go back up here and we're going to look at the funding. Oh, it's down here. Sorry. So look at this. This is what is a partnership. Look at
Thank-
this. He went to Rockville and got some money, went to Mount Airy, got some money. All these people gave him some money. It was an emergency over there. In Perulia, they don't have any money to even buy a shoelace, much less. And they found $500. It was that important to them. I mean, you want everybody to have bet on the, skin in the game. But this grant turned out to be $52,000. That's the power of a leader who goes out and markets an opportunity.
Mhm.
So whenever someone's looking for some overseas money in India, they're calling Ela Shaw, they're calling VJ, they're calling Paul. But then if they're looking for people in Nigeria, Ethiopia, I've got a big project going on in Kenya right now that has multiple people in our district and people outside of our district. This happens to be an in-district grant, global grant, but I can show you others that, not like the Kenya one, for example. I think we have maybe $30,000 in it, but there's another $1 million that's coming from people around the world that we partner with. It's just
That's-
amazing.
That is amazing. And I mean, just seeing the names and the activities that are going on there, as well as the dollar amounts, I hope it gives us some food for thought about where we might be able to take this, because we are going to be leveraging this and we're going to be writing in a grant. We just want to position ourselves for when someone comes along with that perfect idea.
Absolutely. And that's how it works. And it's the relationships that you build. I mean, I talk to people all over the world because I have to manage these because there's always questions that come up, whether it's as the international sponsor or when it comes to the authorizations, just to give you an idea what they look like. The authorizations are many people. So let's go down here. And but we're just talking about global grants. There's so much we could do on our community grants, and that's why the engine of our work all over the world is Rotarian money. We're talking about $5 billion over, I don't know, about 35, 40 years. And that's all Rotarian money. It's not from Bill Gates. It's not from anybody. That's us. So here, for example, the authorizations, and I don't know if you all can see those. You may not be able to see those.
It's coming.
But I'm going to show them to you. So here is the content. This is the status. These people have already gone in and authorized their grant, which they would have to do, or it won't get approved. So see all the people that are involved. Look where all these people are from.
That's showing that due diligence of Rotary, right? Like that there's so many engaged Rotarians, dynamic people of action. And
so
also that it's legitimate, right? That it's getting that
Yeah.
good observation.
Yep. And we have to work on, through inspiration and engagement, that other 48% that do nada.
Mhm. Truly. And that's the other thing that we're excited about. We can't continually ask for money without showing a product, right? So for our club, we're excited to be working towards a global grant or a community grant. And then that will make our colleagues better understand at least how that money can exponentially grow. Wonderful. Well, we know that you're working closely with Jessica, and also I know now that I need to be tied into the Rotary Foundation educational series starting this new year, because as the president, as well as our hopefully established president-elect, will also join, and we want to make sure that we have all that information to give to our members. But we loved having you here, Rich.
Don't jump in the hole and say, I can't do it, get somebody to call.
I
what we're here for.
fully appreciate that. I fully appreciate that. And we're so lucky to have that personal relationship with you. I think you were one of the first persons that I met from the district outside of our club when I joined this club. At that time, of course, you were district governor.
I remember that. I remember the restaurant. I remember standing in the lobby. I remember these things. Yes.
Indeed, mate. Well, that's beautiful. Thank you very much for joining us. Is there anyone else that has a quick question for Rich? No? Okay, well, wonderful. Well, Rich, I won't
You can look at the.
hold you any longer.
Yeah.
At this point, we'll thank Rich and I'll allow you to go, sir. We're just going to continue on about our happy dollars as well as our own personal informations and exchanges. So thank you so much.
God
give-
bless you all. Be safe, stay healthy, mentally healthy.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Be well.
Thank you. Wicked. Well, friends,